and happy Wednesday. Welcome to Q&A Wednesdays. I am your host, Intellects, and our question for this month is discipline. How would someone who is undisciplined accept it? Right? So we are going to jump right into this topic because we have a lot to talk about. Welcome to Q&A Wednesdays. Our topic today is on discipline. All right, so what you can do is put in the comments how you think someone who's undisciplined would accept discipline in different ways that you would offer your services to them to help them become more disciplined. Like, what's one thing that helped you in an area that you were not disciplined in, that you became disciplined in? You know, what worked for you, what could work for someone else, right? So we can talk about that. All right, so we are going to jump right in, right? So in order to find out how someone who is undisciplined goes from that to discipline, let's talk about what discipline actually is. All right. Okay, so I hope y'all Wednesday is going well so far. This is definitely a topic that is shined away from because it's something that all of us should have, but it takes work to maintain, right? And a lot of us are not that consistent. A lot of us are good for a little while and then we fall off, right? So we all need discipline and we all have areas that we're undisciplined in. So we are going to talk about that, okay?
I discovered the 8 immortal kings of Samaria lived a total of 241,000.
I've never met a person who was not successful that didn't have a great amount of self-discipline within their life. Self-discipline and being able to perform and being able to keep your life on schedule and being able to keep commitments and promises and meet deadlines is essential to success.
The Marines have a saying, everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. And that's just real. At the center of bringing any dream into fruition is self-discipline.
Look, if you're going to become a concert pianist, there's going to be several thousand hours of extraordinarily disciplined practice. That's the imposition of order on your potential, let's say. But what comes out of that is a much grander freedom. And so virtually every freedom that you have in life that's true freedom is purchased at the price of discipline.
Discipline is the root of all good qualities. But you have to absolutely apply it to things outside of just waking up early. It's everything. It's working out every day, making yourself stronger and faster and more flexible and healthier.
Discipline is training. If you change your mindset and really focus it on what discipline really is, you start to welcome discipline. You welcome self-discipline into your life.
I don't know nothing to control me but me. And so I got to put myself under extreme discipline to make sure I'm free. So when people see me, you get up at 3, you don't drink, you don't smoke. I'm not doing that because I think I'm better than nobody else or I think you're going to go to hell because you had a drink. I want to control, I want freedom. And for me, disciplining myself means more freedom.
If you don't work out, you don't get a muscle, right? So I always tell people there's a daily practice like grinding. If you don't do that, if you get up and you just have no discipline whatsoever, you get no value in anything. Your diets don't work when you don't do them. Exercise doesn't work when you don't do them. But most of the people have some experiences that they want to shift, And once you shift those things, your whole life changes. But life is constant growth. My life isn't here because I went to one seminar one time and now my life is fit for life. I work out, I train my mind, I train my body, and it becomes a lifestyle.
Basic fundamentals being applied over and over and over and over again. Getting up a certain time, doing certain things, cooking your meals, walking through the disciplines, keeping the checklist, and staying on top of it. Those are the things that, you string them together, start to create a day of efficient action. The more likely you are to string those days of efficient action together, the more likely it will be that you can set up your own success.
It's about facing your fears. It takes discipline to face your fears so you can conquer them. And that's what discipline is. Discipline means taking the hard road, the uphill road, to do what's right.
All right. So that was a short intro just to give you an idea of what discipline is. Now, mind you, depending on who you ask, there will be different answers, just like with everything else. So you have to decide what discipline means for you. So just a few recap of some things that were talked about in this video. Self-discipline, right? When I think about self-discipline, it reminds me of doing it yourself, not having to be forced to do it, not relying on other people to help you with it, simply doing it yourself, right? And it was saying how people aren't willing to do the work. Like, a lot of people envision, heaven or an afterlife experience, but no one wants to pass away, right? So in the same sense, when it comes to success, when it comes to living out your dreams, people are willing to want that, but not everybody is willing to do the work to get it, right? So that is a form of discipline, getting to that point, making a habit to make it happen, right? So they said discipline is the root of all good qualities, right? A form of training, whatever you focus on and whatever you welcome, right? So when you think about training, you're doing something repetitively, you're doing something consistently, you are making a habit of whatever that is so that over time it becomes easier, right? It takes 21 days to form a habit, right? So when there is constant growth, when you train your mind as well as your body, because they can't work well if they're separated. They work better together. So train your mind, train your body, right? And facing your fears. A lot of times we are not disciplined in certain areas because we don't face those things that we are afraid of. And you cannot heal from something that you do not confront or face. So let's begin to face our fears to become more disciplined, right? But our question is, how would someone who is undisciplined accept it? One way is to create a training regimen, to be consistent, to face your fears, to be constantly growing, to look at it from a different perspective, to train your mind and your body to work together, right? So what we're going to talk about next, we're going to go a little bit deeper into why we all should have discipline and where it comes from. All right, so we talked about it from a very basic perspective. This time, we are going to talk about it from a specific perspective, okay?
I started to think about my baby registry pretty much as soon as I found out I was pregnant. I saw a weakness in you on your latest podcast. You seem to overlook the fact that some infant children were raised in undisciplined environments with undisciplined parents. They grow up having modeled these undisciplined examples. I hate the fact that I have gross undisciplined behavior. Solving this is a major priority in my life. You have zero idea of what this experience is like for me. You seem blind to this struggle, like a father who would ignore their child's struggle and offer only the words, "Man up."
So, this is a good question, and I see where this guy's coming from for sure. And I know that it can be very, very frustrating to try and become disciplined. And I apologize that I haven't talked about the fact of what to do if you come from an undisciplined family or you have undisciplined parents. I haven't really talked about what to do in that situation, but there's a reason that I haven't talked about that before, and that is because you don't get discipline from your parents. You don't get discipline from your parents, from your grandparents, from your older brothers and sisters. You don't get discipline from an external source. You have to get it from you. That's what self-discipline is. You get it from yourself. You get it from you. So there's people from every possible background, from no parents to crazy parents to, drug-addicted parents to super squared away parents, and everywhere in between on that spectrum that are completely disciplined people. More disciplined than anyone I know. It doesn't come from your parents. You don't inherit it. And there's another piece here. It's called ownership, right? It's called ownership. And if you want to blame other